All right, here's the eye of the bird. I'm gonna make it big so you can see what I'm doing. There's that. Then we're going to do the pupil. And then we're gonna do a highlight, the sparkle in the eye. So there's that. Then I'm going to, this will become darker. You could be doing this with your pen. The pupil gets dark. You have the iris here, and then you have another outer edge coming around the eye. Let's see. And then I like to put in these corner, and this is pretty much what I do to all my birds. I like doing the eyes. So there is the eye. So the pupil, the iris with a dark ring around it, and then another ring around that, and then the corners. Now we're gonna paint it. So I like to use burnt sienna. It's a nice warm brown color. And I'm going to paint all around here. But the light is hitting this spot here, so I'm not gonna take it all the way around. I'm going to just kind of fade that out over here. And I might even darken right under here, because if it's rounded, this would be in shadow a little bit, like whenever you're painting anything round. So there's the pupil. I'm not going to paint this black yet because of the the paint being wet. So the next thing I would do is you're going to have these little black feathers. Let's first draw the beak in. Here's the beak. Okay, and it's kind of like a mask. It's gonna have, you can do this with your pen, and then it's gonna go around this eye and through here. It's gonna come down. You can go smaller, because you can always add more as you work the bird. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my mixture of alizarin crimson, phthalo green, sap green, whatever green you have, and make a dark mixture, a dark reddish color. If it's too brown, pick up some ultramarine blue. Ooh, too violet, so I'm gonna take some green. That's why you always mix a little at a time. More red, green, till you get a nice natural black from the colors that you're using. Still too violet, so I want more green. All right, let's see what that does. So I'm gonna go right in here, around here, I'm gonna go up in here. Turn my work around, it's easier to pull it out this way. Now that's a much prettier black than taking Payne's Gray, because you can see the colors that you're using, the reds, the violets, the warmer colors. I'm gonna take my brush, I'm gonna go around here, around here. The pupil. And sometimes it doesn't have to be a perfect circle for that highlight. It looks nicer when it's kind of misshaped. Okay, let's see that. I'm gonna clean my brush and turn this kind of grayish. This is just one way of doing the eye. There's so many ways of doing it, but this seems to work for me. And all right, let that dry. That's the basic eye. All right, we're gonna do the beak. We're going to first start with some cad yellow. And from the lower beak to up to a white area. I want to leave a white area on the beak because that's where the light is hitting. Then I'm going to come in with, I'm going to go with a transparent orange and drop that in. You can let some of that black come in. Just let it mingle a little bit. And then I'm going to come in with the red. You can work wet on wet, or you can let each layer dry. Okay, that's the start of the beak. All right, I can see I'm losing some of the yellow here, so I'm just gonna pull that back while it's still wet. I'm gonna take my cad yellow. Now, remember, if your lines are too dark, erase them. I'm gonna lay in some cad yellow. Remember, the sun is coming this way, and it would be hitting the chest of the bird. So put that in. I think I'm gonna go ahead and lay in some cad orange. You can let these colors mingle. I just don't want to lose all that yellow. And then your red. You can work wet on wet, depends on if you want a loose style, but all the detail will be at the end. Okay. I'm gonna do the beak. I'm gonna take some cad yellow, and I'm just going to put underneath and up to the white. The light is coming this way, so I want some of that white. Remember, the white will make it sparkle a little bit. Then I'm gonna take my red and I'm gonna take some of that cad yellow, or you can use orange, and I'm gonna drop that in right here. I don't wanna lose all the yellow. Clean my brush and push that on down so that you have the white, the yellow, and a orangey red. We can always darken it, so don't go too dark. So I'm leaving this go until I do the top of the head. So I'm gonna go back to the original drawing. So you should have your eye area lightly done in and the beak. All right, you can see I've got a lot more ink work done in mine. This is dried, soaked into the paper. So now, again, the light source is coming about here. I'm gonna take my light yellow or cad yellow. This is cad yellow light, or you can go with the dark. And I'm gonna just get an inky solution. The light will be hitting here. So I'm just gonna put some yellow in here. I'm gonna put some yellow on the chest. I'm going to put some yellow right in here on top. This wing will be on top of the body, and the light will be hitting this edge. And I'm just gonna blend this in. Maybe a little more yellow. And maybe just here and there. So this will brighten up the red. So that's what I have. This can use more yellow, so I'm putting just a touch since that's soaked in. All right, the reason why I put the yellow here, because I want a lighter version of the red here. And since we're working with transparent colors, the yellow should shine through right here. You can see how dark it is here. The light is hitting the chest and the wings here. And when we put in our darks, this is going to come forward and the darks will stay behind. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to start with a medium value, and I'm just going to go with my cad red, which is an orangey red. Now, I don't want a rose color. I want an orangey color. And I'm just gonna start putting it in here. That might be a little too dark. If it's too dark, just get some water. And I'm going to go, even though this is gonna be black, I'm going to, you can see how the yellow is shining through there. And I'm just going to pull it on up and up into the top. Now remember, you can always make it darker. It's hard to lighten it once it's dark. And I'm just going to bring this on down. Remember, we're going to keep working in layers. And I want, okay. If you stop, make sure you blend this edge in. I'm putting in, it's not a real heavy pigment that I'm working with. I'm just doing a light layer of color. And as I bring this down, the yellow should shine through. Don't play with it too much or you're going to mix the yellow with the red. And I'm just going to push that in. I want to soften this edge and just blend that in. Okay, that's what I have for the first layer. So while this is drying, I'm gonna do the berries. And again, the berries are an orangey color, but I want roundness to it. So I'm gonna start with this one. I'm gonna go ahead and add yellow to this one. You can paint them all yellow, actually, so they could be drying. And if it's too watery, add a little more pigment. So let's just go ahead and paint them all. I want that yellow underneath. I don't want a rosy berry. Oops. I want this one behind. So this one is on top, and this one is behind. Behind. And behind. And I did forget to leave some white. So let's put in a highlight, 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 and a highlight. I like that little bit of white. So if you catch it soon enough, you can pull it back out. I'm not worried about that one. They don't all have to have highlights. Okay, now we're gonna let that dry. Now I'm going to take a stronger mixture of my cad red, and I'm going to start putting it in here. I'm gonna go underneath the wing. I'm gonna blend it on up. Just smooth that out a little bit. I'm just blending it into the light. I'm going to blend it down under the wing and blend it. I don't want any hard edges. I want this to have a nice blend. Then I'm going to bring it on down here. Underneath the wing. And I'm going to take a little cad orange or that transparent orange, and I want it to blend in with that cad red. It looks so much better when it has variation of color rather than just solid red like in this photo. So I'm going to blend that out. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. While that's drying, I'm going back to the berries with that transparent orange. And I'm gonna go the back side and behind this berry. And I'm gonna blend it into the yellow. Take a clean brush. It's damp, and I'm just gonna let it blend into that yellow. There's that one. I'm going to start back here and blend it on up to the cad yellow. But I don't want to lose my white. So I'm going to go back here with the with the transparent orange. I did draw some feet here, so I'm kind of working around those feet a little bit. If there's a branch here, don't worry about it. The brown will come in stronger. So I'm gonna take and blend that back right up there so that this bird has got his feet right on this berry. Take some more. I'm gonna take this. I'm going to take this one. There might be some highlight hitting the top of this berry, so I'm going to leave a little bit of that yellow. I'm going to skip this one because if I came in with the orange, it's going to run right into the berry. And it doesn't hurt to maybe even have some yellow berries that haven't ripened or is just an odd color. Okay, blend that out. If you lose your yellow, blot that orange off a little bit. Whoop, too much water there. Okay. Now, if you touch your painting and it feels really cool, you know it's still real damp, but I think it's dry enough that I can continue. I'm gonna take some of the Cad Red, I'm sorry, alizarin crimson, and I have a pretty alizarin crimson. Some alizarin seem to be darker, and I'm gonna put it right underneath the wing. And I'm gonna take a little bit of violet just to darken it even more because I really want it dark under here. Clean my brush and I'm gonna blend that down under here in the body. And blend it right here with some water. I'm going to, in this picture, you can see you've got some more reds in here. I'm going to take some of that darker color, mix it with the Cad, and I'm going to turn my board, and I'm just going to darken under here. I want this to sit underneath this black area. So this is kind of like the neck area. So I'm going to just kind of, I'm trying to push that in. And then, whoops, make sure your brush is clean enough. And I'm going to take some of the orange and some of the red and bring it on up. Whoops, I'm gonna take some of the yellow. I want it bright right here on the chest. All right, so bring some yellow in there. So you can see the light is hitting here and here. I haven't done any detail with little feathers. I'm just blocking in the light and the dark and the medium value. All right, we have our yellow right here, so this will make it lighter and stand away from the body. I'm gonna come back in with my Cad Red, and I'm gonna go underneath this area. This is my Cad Red. I'm gonna clean my brush and I wanna blend that on down into this area here. I want this to tuck under. I'm gonna take a little bit of the alizarin crimson and just darken it a little bit more. Okay. All right, so I'm trying to get this area dark and let this blend so that this comes forward. So while that's drying, I'm gonna go back to my Cad and I'm going to do the same thing down here. And if you work slow, work a little bit at a time. Put that color down, clean your brush or have a second brush ready and blend it out. I'm gonna take some of the alizarin crimson with a little bit of that dark violet color that I had mixed up. I'm just gonna darken that a little bit more. Whoops, see, it's wet there, so it's out of control. It's bleeding where the water is. And you can just kind of do the line work. Now, if you've lost control, just take a damp brush, pick that up, or push it forward. I'm going to blend this out a little. Okay. If you mix alizarin crimson, I use phthalo green, but any green will work. If you only have sap green, mix it in with your alizarin crimson, and if it's too brown, add a little violet to it. So this is my dark mixture. I'm gonna put it down right here and behind here, and I'm taking a second brush so I don't lose my dark color. I'm gonna take my second brush and I'm just gonna blend that out. I don't wanna lose all that orange color. And I'm keeping this one light. I'm not going into that one. I'm gonna go back. This is behind here. And I'm gonna blend that out. The water will pull it out. And if you're having a hard time, you can always take a little cad red and push into that dark. So I'm gonna take that dark color. Whoa. This one is behind both of these. And I want the shadow side over here. Now, you can take a little bit of your cad red and push the cad red into that. And then I'm gonna, let's take this one. I want this one to vary in color, so I'm gonna just take the cad red again. Whoops, I had enough dark in there, so it's going with dark. Here's the cad red. And I'm gonna take my cleaner brush and just blend that out. I can even take my orange and let it be more orange. I'm not gonna do this one because it's too close. I think I want this one to just stay kind of orangey. So I'm taking transparent orange and just darken it. I'm gonna go back with the transparent orange here. And then I'm gonna go back with my dark color here and here and vary it. I'm gonna just take my transparent orange and lay it right next to that. And I'm going to push the water into it and let the water move it. All right, so I'm trying to get a variation of berries. I'm gonna come back with yellow. I'm going back to the wing and I'm gonna take some of this transparent orange and my cad red. If you wanna just use cad red, that's fine too, but I want more of an orangey red. And I'm just gonna kind of glaze it down. Let the colors run. That transparent orange is such a pretty color. Winsor Newton. And I'm just gonna glaze some of that orange here. I'm gonna soften this edge here. But I don't wanna lose that yellow coming through. I'm gonna take more transparent orange and little red and add add it back here. Remember, I can always darken. And I'm going to take some Cad Red and let those mingle a little bit. Okay. Now you can see I haven't started any detail. You can leave it like this, or you can put in some detail. All right, I'm gonna go, while this is drying, I'm gonna go back to the eye. And remember, we mixed alizarin crimson with phthalo green to get a black. And if it's too brown, you wanna add a little violet to it. No, ultramarine blue, I'm sorry. Add ultramarine blue, alizarin crimson, and phthalo green. There we go, it's getting black. It's too violet yet, I'm picking up more green. Wow. Violet, green. All right, there we go. So I've got my fine brush, and I'm going to start right in here, around the eye. Don't lose that white. I'm gonna clean my brush. So I've got my fine brush, and I'm going to start right in here, around the eye. Don't lose that white. I'm gonna clean my brush. Yes. If you fling it away, it's easier. You can dot it, just kind of dab. I'm going to keep working it around this way, around the eye. I'm going to go into the pupil, darken that black a little bit. And there's the eye. I'm going to go into the mouth a little bit. All right. Now, I'm going to take that same mixture I worked with the mask. I'm going to put some on my brush, just a little bit. And I'm going to just define these wings a little with a very light touch. Too much paint. I'm hardly touching the paper. You can even lighten that solution a little bit. I like that better. It's kind of like a mixture of the red and a gray. Very diluted. I'm going to go up in here. It's almost like your dirty water. I'm going to soften this up, drag it up there. So you're just working in layers. And then I'm just going to kind of create some shape in here. And I'm taking that dark color, really push this body down, back. Take a damp brush. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna take some Cad Red and bring some more up in here. This is where you just kind of check out what you have and figure out what needs to be darkened, what needs to maybe even be lightened. Like that. Ooh, I almost dropped the brush. And I'm just going to, take a little darken underneath the beak. I'm going to take that darker mixture because the top beak is probably putting some shadow underneath there. All right, I'm going to let that dry. While this is all drying, I'm going to still glaze another color here so it's not so light or orangey. I like the way this is, and I may bring in some feathers down in here, but I'm going to let it all dry. So I'm going to work on the branches. And I'm going to take my Cad Yellow and some of the violet. Remember, that'll kind of make a brown. Or if you want to use raw umber, burnt sienna, new gamboge, you can start with that. In fact, let's put a layer of new gamboge or quin gold down first. It's kind of a golden yellow. Now the sun is coming this way, so I'm gonna just put a whole layer of new gamboge down. We'll just do this one branch so it doesn't get too confusing. Now, when you do branches, they don't just stick in, they kind of are tucked in there with a rounded edge there. It's just not stuck on. I'm going to pull this. All right, while that's wet, I'm going to take a little violet and that brown mixture that I made, and I'm just going to drop, remember the sun's coming this way, so this would be the darker side. And if you have burnt sienna, I like this warm tone. You can drop some other browns in there. Let those colors mingle. Okay, that's your start of the one branch. This light is hitting there. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other branches, starting with a lighter color. It doesn't have to be quite that golden color. I'm just gonna go ahead and draw it in. I have a branch. The feet are right here, so let me do a branch right here to define this area. I have a berry coming this way, here, 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 and here. This gets a little confusing, but do the best you can. Doesn't have to be exact. Just have fun. I'm gonna here. Okay. All right, now I can kind of see where my feet are. All right. All right, the bird's feet are right on these berries here. I'm going to use some burnt sienna right in here, right in here. Just to define that a little bit. I'm going to take some of the violet color, oops, and just darken behind. Right down here, here, and just kind of blend that out. And then I'm going to go over those branches. All right. See, I missed the branch coming across here, so I'm going to take some of that new gamboge. I'm going to just put it on down here. And there's a branch right here. I'm going to take that darker mixture. Remember, it'd be darker on the underside. So this is kind of a violet mix with that yellow, either cad yellow or new gamboge. I like the violet showing through a little bit. Although it's not showing. Let me take some of that burnt sienna. I like that warmer tone. Okay, right in here. Okay, I'm gonna take more of the burnt sienna. I'm gonna darken it a little bit on the underside. It just looks like a tangled mess here, but that's okay. The feet are just mixed in with these berries. Let's see. Let's go there. And you can just keep playing with it. I'm going to end up with some strong darks to define it. I'm going to go ahead and add some of my, make this one more orangey. Whoops. A lot of water there. I think it makes an interesting painting when you vary the colors. I'm going to take some cad yellow. I don't want all my berries to be the same color. Whoop. Okay, this one's getting bigger. Okay, all right, I'm gonna go back to the cad red. I think this is a little too light, so I'm gonna take my transparent orange and a touch of the cad red, just glaze it on there. I don't want to lose that highlighted edge. I want rich colors by glazing the transparent orange, and a little bit more of the red gives it the richer color. I'm gonna put the orange up here. Okay, I want to go a little darker with the alizarin crimson, just to push this back just a little bit more. Dark colors recede, light colors come to you. All right, I better stop before I mess the bird up. I'm going to go back to the branch and I'm going to darken it. I want a brownish, a warm brown, but I want it dark. Let's see, I'm just playing with the colors I have on my palette. Ooh. I'm going to test this violet. I'm going to put the violet in there. Take my second brush, if I can find it. What did I do with it? Here it is. And I'm going to just hit it with some water. I don't want it to look outlined. You can add some curved lines to it to give it that rounded feel to it. Splatter some texture. Just kind of dabbing it here and there. I just want the branch to have some texture, some roundness to it. by splattering water on it, it will create texture. It's just water, so if it gets on the background, that's okay. You can blot it off. And I'm going to come back with that mixture and darken it here and there. This branch is coming down along here. I'm going to darken it right underneath this bird. Some of these branches are really long, but that's okay. And here. I might be getting carried away, but that's okay. I just want some darks in there. Okay. And look at what's happening here. The water is just moving that paint and creating a nice blend of color. So I'm going to do the same thing back here. I might take some of this, the warm color, burnt sienna. If the color isn't moving, add a little water to it. Gotta know when to stop though. Okay, let me clean my brush. I really like that.